everyone, welcome to Illinois and Garden Zone 5. Boy, do we have a lot to do today. So I went plant shopping at the Lowe's Plant Center and picked up stuff for the window boxes on the garden house for fall and winter. So I want to show you what I picked out and then get it planted up in those window boxes today. Also, I was going to take you on a little bit of a garden tour. We're in mid-October already, hard to believe. Stuff is still looking good, so I want to show you a few things in the garden. And then finally, I was thrifting over the weekend and look what I came across. This is number 3 silver pitcher for me, and I am loving these guys. You can pick these up pretty reasonable, and they look gorgeous with garden flowers in them, or even faux flowers. So if you're a regular with me, you know that we adopted 2 kittens, a brother and a sister, about 2 months ago. They're now 4 months old. They're indoors and they are into everything. And one thing I've learned is glass pitchers for flowers do not work with kittens. I still have flowers in the house I like to take a bouquet in to enjoy, and I had one of these silver pitchers in my makeup room with faux flowers in it on an end table, and guess what? I came into the room and found the pitcher on the floor with the flowers on the floor. So had it been glass, it could have hurt the kittens, it could have been a mess to clean up. Being that it's the stainless steel or silver, it's just an easy, I picked it back up, put the flowers back in it, and they haven't bothered it since. So I am loving these, and I think they're really pretty anyway. This one I thought had some unique detail on it with the pretty ornate handle and then more of the rounded lip on the pitcher. So we are going to collect some flowers today and also style up and make an arrangement, see how it looks in this new pitcher that I just thrifted. So let's get going. Okay, let's start in the cut flower garden. So this first raised bed is where I had all those little pumpkins, and you can see them down there on the corner. I was growing those in there, and you guys, I probably got 35 or 40 of those little pumpkins. If you watched my last video of decorating, you've seen that I had lots of pumpkins. So those were a really fun experiment, and they were just one package of pumpkins. So we'll do that again next year. So we have some compact dahlias that I bought as bedding plants that are looking really pretty in that yellow and red. And then there's that raspberry cupcake rose. All the roses now in October are putting on their last flush, so they're looking gorgeous. And you can see the DIY bench that I did over on the side of the shed. I've added some of those little pumpkins in there, and then we've got pots of geraniums and ivy still going strong. That middle one is a strawberry plant, and I'm still getting strawberries off of it, so thrilled about that. So in back here we've got a climbing rose, and then we have this is a David Austin rose that I moved just a couple months ago to put out here. So it's already blooming again, looking gorgeous. Let's go up and take a closer look at this. This is Princess Alexandra of Kent. Look at those gorgeous blooms. So this area is looking really pretty with the marigolds and the salvia and the zinnias. Lots of bee activity, butterflies. Over in the distance, we've got some dahlias that are just starting to bloom. And also that cinnamon basil is what you're seeing on those purple spikes. That's usually covered with bees. The bees just love that cinnamon basil. And that also makes a really nice cut flower to put in bouquets. The dahlias are doing good. Look, we've got a pretty white one here, and we've got those great big huge pink ones. And then down here we've got more of that white with the lavender tips on them, and those are really pretty also. This little bed has some compact zinnias in it, some carnation and lavender that I grew from seed over winter, and also coneflower that I grew from seed over winter. And then I've mixed in herbs throughout all these raised garden beds. So some of those will come back next year and some not. Now the roses, like I mentioned, they are putting on their last flush here in Zone 5. and looking gorgeous. Now these are all first year that I planted. Now this one was supposed to get about 5 foot tall, and look how tall it is, you guys. Clear up there. So I would say that's a good 7 or 8 feet that it grew. This is Pope John Paul II, and it is a creamy white fragrant rose. It is super pretty. It was loaded with blooms, this rose bush was, and I recently cut off a bunch of the blooms and put them in one of those silver pitchers and posted that in the community post. So if you're not part of our group, you'll want to subscribe so you get those community posts and you can see throughout the week things that are happening when I'm thrifting and out in the garden. But this is a gorgeous rose that if you like roses, you may want to add this one to your list next year for your garden. Another gorgeous rose in the cut flower garden is this all dressed up. Look at all these beautiful blooms. We will be cutting some of these tonight for our arrangement. Now this is its first year and it has performed fabulously, very disease resistant. And I think this one I got on High Country Rose. I ordered it online, but I'm really happy with it. So can't wait to see how it grows in the coming years. And in the back there, you'll see on the fence that I did move the trellises apart and hung the new DIY shelf. So if you caught the last video, you've seen that DIY. So the bird cage is still looking good here on the table with the pumpkins that we grew out in the garden, and the bird cage has some faux leaves in it, some faux flowers, and then just a little tiny yellow ceramic bird in there to a nod to that bird cage, but really liking that DIY too. So if you missed that video, I will link it down in the description so you can see those DIYs. So as we go into the back garden, we've got our arrangement that we put together with our pumpkins, and we've got an assortment down at the base, and then we've got some little ones and our mum there. Now I didn't do a lot of mums out in the garden this year. Actually, I'll say that's my only one. And the reason being is here in Illinois, they bloom out pretty fast. We've been having warm temperatures still. This one's only been potted up for not probably even a week. When I purchased it, it was still a lot of buds, and like you can see, it's almost flowered out. So we're going to be doing something different with the window boxes on the garden house. The sitting pretty roses are still blooming again. Not as profuse as what they were before, but I enjoy those blooms and they are so pretty. Now back in the back, we have a huge Eden rose that I need to get trimming on. Do you see that in the tutor? It's gotten so big you can't even see the mirror very well back on the fence. On my project list to get that trimmed up, at least so that the mirror shows again, because I do like having that mirror back there as a focal point behind the girl statue, just as a design element. And so I'm just going to give that rose a little bit of a trim. Now I did spray paint the Serendipity allium for you in the last video, and I used 2 different colors. So this was all done blooming. It had the brown heads on it, the seed heads, and I did lavender and I did a dark purple, just so you could see the difference. Now from even close up, I think really it doesn't look that much difference than the original. So I'll pop a picture in of what it originally looked like when it was really blooming versus now what it looks like. It's pretty similar. So if you're looking to make your alliums last longer, get you some spray paint and just give them a quick spray, and then it'll extend their life in the garden. This Cleome that I grew from seed over winter, look how big that has got. And it's got so many blooms on it with all those pretty purple flowers. These also are really pretty in a flower arrangement, so we may cut some of these tonight too and add them in. This season I opted, instead for fall of putting plants, I decided to put pumpkins in the urns and faux leaves. I got those at Walmart, both the large pumpkins and the leaves. I tucked the leaves in around the pumpkins. I do like this for fall, and it cuts down on watering. I don't have to worry about watering the urns. And these I can see from my kitchen window, and they're just so bright and cheery, looking out and seeing that fall decor with the pretty red burning bush tree in the background. The double impatiens are still blooming good. Now look how well the roses are doing. They are just putting on a show for October, and they're all kind of like tilting towards that mirror back there, like looking at themselves, trying to decide which one is prettier. But you can see how pretty this is. And then let me show you one of the blooms. Look at that, and it's fragrant and it smells very, very nice. Champagne Wishes is still going strong and looking beautiful. This is an Easy Elegance Rose from Lowe's. And you can see I haven't deadheaded it. So that's what it looks like when it hasn't been deadheaded. We've got a little quick fire hydrangea back there that's still looking really nice. The knockout roses are looking good. You can see Winston over in the window looking at us. He's wanting to come out and play. He's telling us he wants out. And these are Bobo hydrangeas and lavender. And then we've got our viburnum looking really pretty here with the red on it for fall. So overall in October, stuff is still doing well. We haven't had our first frost yet. Okay, so this is what I opted to do the window boxes with, to not only prolong fall, but also take these into winter for Christmas, and then into the new year, and I'll be able to keep them in the boxes until probably spring. Now I ended up going with Green Mountain boxwood, and I got a couple little arborvitaes. Now the reason only a couple, there was only a couple left. So I ended up with the boxwood, and what I think I'm going to do is on the front of the garden house, I have smaller window boxes than on the side, and I do like having those pumpkins in there. So I'm going to put 2 boxwood and then fill in with some pumpkins. Then at Christmas time, I could use ornaments, I could use greenery, berries, different things to make it more Christmassy, and then change it up for winter. Now on the side window boxes, you can see I've cut them back, and they're starting to flush again on the one end there. They're bigger boxes, so we're gonna do 2 boxwood and 1 of the arborvitaes, and have the arborvitae in the middle. Now I will tell you that all of these say that they are good down to zone 4. So I will be treating them like probably annuals, because if you're going to put something over winter in a window box or a planter, it should be 2 zones lower than yours. So I'm in zone 5. These technically would need to be zone 3 to survive in planters or window boxes. So we will see if they make it through the winter, but for winter interest, I think they'll look really nice. So let's get planting these up. Okay, so we got 1 down planted. Now let's put the pumpkins on it, and then we'll have 3 more to do. So these are the pumpkins I grew out in the cut flower garden, and we're just gonna scatter them around here. Now this was leftover sedum that I had in the pot this summer, in the window box this summer, and it's still doing good, so I'm just gonna leave it. And then we just have a branch of faux leaves. Okay, this should make us a nice bouquet. Let's get arranging. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Look, the sun is setting behind us. We have been out in the garden playing for quite a bit. So I did a two-sided arrangement to take inside and enjoy on the island, on the kitchen island. And you can see we've got a front, we've got a back when I spin it around. It's very fragrant. I got flowers from not only back here in the raised cut flower garden, I did cut flowers out in the backyard too. So we've got lots of flowers to enjoy in our thrifted container. So be on the lookout when you're out thrifting. Find you a gorgeous container, cut you some garden flowers, and enjoy arrangement in your home. Have a great week, and I will see you in our next video.